recording started. So access modifiers, as I told, right, the name itself will actually tell us. So based on these access modifiers, the name it says, right, so these are all the modifiers, okay, which decides access level. Okay, what kind of access level, these variables, methods, so based on the modifier. So let's take example private. So if you put private for any variable, then this private give the access, only limited access, okay, to this variable. So that means if you put any, let me copy this program and I will tell you, like, what is private, what is protected, what is public, and all. So let me copy this. So private, as I told, right, private can be applied to variables and methods. So members marked private cannot be accessed by code in any other class. Okay, so other in any other class than the current one. So that means if we declare any private variable, so we it will not allow to access outside of this class. It will be accessed only inside of this class. So then how these variables are utilized, I will tell you, like, let me take one example. So otherwise the examples which we have taken already, I will take one of them. So let's take example of director. Okay, so here if you look at director, right, we have a is executive is one of the variable. So if you look at this one, so the access modifier for this variable is private. So that means this is executive method cannot be accessed outside of this class. Okay, if you observe, how can we access the variables using either object or class, right? If you look at this one, right, example. So how I am accessing this manager class variables? So using the object, first we have to create an object, then you can actually make a call and get the access, like, so access of the variables. So let's take example director, right? So director, so we have a is executive, is one of the variable. Now let's try to access this is executive from the object of directive, object of the director. Okay, so now if you look at this, now when I try to access, so access means, like, we need to put dot, right, when you try to access any methods or variables. If you look at this, actually is senior director only is available here. So is senior director only available. Why is senior director only in director class? Because is senior director, what is the access modifier? Public here. Okay, so for this variable it is a public, so that is why it actually it can be accessed only, since it is a public, it can be accessed from anywhere outside of the class also. So now the private, what I'm trying to say, private we cannot access. So that is why here it shows uh, is senior director. I didn't show me executive. Now the question, okay, how can we access this is executive? So in real time, right, in real time IT world, so we actually put getter and setter methods. So what is mean by getter and setters? So getter means get any one of this variable data. Okay, set means set the status of this variable data. So whatever the data members or variables that particular class has, for each data member we basically create getter and setter methods. Okay, so in Java also it will directly allow to create, or manually also you can create getter setters. Let me do from, like, from ID, from Eclipse, how can we create? So there is a source tab, and if you look at generate getters and setters, source and generate and getter setters, if I select it, it will list down all the variables for the particular class. So right now how many variables we have? Two variables, is executive, is senior director. Is executive is senior director. When I select these two, okay, and when I just click on this, select getters, select setters, there is an option, like, getters and setters. So now select all and then click OK. it creates setters and getters also. It created these four methods now. Okay, so these four methods, what are the methods? Getter and setter methods, like is executive nothing but is a get execute is executive status. Okay, since it's a boolean, it's created. Set means set executive. If you observe this method, right, what it does, it is returning this method, it returning the status of this variable. So now, if you want to access this data member from outside of the class, how can we do that? Through methods only, either getter method or setter method, we can access. So this is the way usually in real time, any variable data we can access. Let's look at one more example, like private. Okay, director has so int salary. Salary already is there, I think. So int let's say director some allowances. Okay, int allowance bonus. Now when I create get a set status, if you observe how it will create. So I'm creating again get a set status for this allowance. So now it is created these two methods. Okay, so get allowance bonus and set allowance. I'll put it in top this way. So get method is there, get allowance bonus. So using this method only, we can get the private variable access. So why they allow, like why they actually have private variables, just to protect, like so protect the data of any class. We can actually we use the private variables in real time. If you take any class, any data transfer any class, so you will have the members like this, all private only. Public they don't usually put, private only, and they put getters and setters. Using this get method, we can get the status of this variable, and using set method we can set the status of this variable. Let me write one of the example here. So now if you look at this class, right, so director class, now I can get the access of these private variables, like like easy executive. There is one easy executive method, so I can get the access of these private members using getters and setters method. So now I can get the I cannot get the variable data directly, but from methods, getters and setters methods, I can get the private variables data. So that's about private variable, right? So it's simple to understand, it's not very complex. So any questions on private?
Chandra, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you get the set and getters, how come they didn't put the name set and get? And usually they'd give set and get, right? How come it's
Yeah,
used is? What is the
yeah.
reason?
It is there actually for boolean only. See, if you look at right, so is executive, it is created both get a set. This setter is there, setter always save it for all the variables. Setter is there. If you look at is executive, there is a set. Okay, and is senior writer also, there is a set method. Set is created everywhere for all the three. Okay, get actually there is a difference for boolean, right? Boolean, if you look at the method get method, it is created as is executive. Boolean means is
Mm-hmm.
true or false. The name,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the name. So if you want to get the status of is executive, you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
put get executive. Get executive is meaning different. Like it is a boolean, right? Get executive. If you put it, will give the status of executive, but not that doesn't look good because if you say
I got it.
suppose
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
suppose if you are director, right? So if someone asks you question like uh, for any question, how you ask is Syed is executive, like that you can ask, right? Is Syed
Mm.
executive? You
Right.
cannot say get I mean the meaning, right? So like when you're asking the person whether he's so and so title, whether he's in, you can ask is. So for boolean only it doesn't add get,
Okay.
it will
Mhm.
add is only for boolean.
Okay.
For other than boolean, if you look at allowance status,
Mm.
right, it actually put get and set.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
that's the notice. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so okay, that's about. So do you both understand, Salem, what Said asked the question? Salem and you?
Yeah, just because the answer is true or false, we don't say get execute, right?
Correct, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just we have is instead of
yes, that's
is.
correct.
Yeah, like just like another question. When you ask another question, is this true or false? It's the
Yes,
answer.
yes, another question. That's
That's
correct.
what I got it. That's what
Okay.
I got it. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's correct. What you said is correct. Yeah. Okay. Now the private is basically it's a variable and method. Let me execute this. This is one of the example which I given here. So product right, action modifier private. You can practice the same whatever I given, right? So so it has a as I told, we need to format using Control Shift F. So now this one, right? There is a product class. Okay, product class has one data member, private member, which is data. Like, okay, so we can put get us and set us even this also. So let's put sorry. Okay, so I just put like get us and set us, no, get data, set data. So this class is finished, and there's a message also private method. So this message, what it does, it will just print some hello extra, something like hello world, some message it will print. Now there is a main method, and we created object for product. So this product class object we created, and now let's try to print the data like private member directly access. So this data is private, right? So as I told, so though it is in same file, same Java file, access modifiers private is the Java same file, but this product is one class, and access modifiers private is another class. If you look at this, is a public class, right? Public class, and this is default class. So these both are different classes. So as I told, if you have any private variable can be accessed only within the class, and it cannot be accessed outside of the class. So that is the reason when there is a object, product object is created, when you try to access the private member directly, it shows the compilation error. So what is the compilation error? It says the field product dot data is not visible. So that means it is not accessible since it is a private. Now how we can access this data? Only through getter method. I told, right, through getter method. So this getter setters usually are public. Anytime, like if you take any project, like in any real-time code, they will give this getter set as access public. That means outside of the class you can access this get method and set method, but not private member. So that's how we'll access. Now this product dot message also is giving problem, because this message, what is the access modifier?
It's a
It's a
private.
private. So that is the reason it also throw the compilation error. So how can we access only uh, only these public methods we can access. So prod dot get data. So there is a get data method we can access. So we can,
So
yeah.
I have a question. Within a private class, you can define also a public.
No, no, no. There
So
won't be
what
any.
happened here? You set up like you created a private.
It will throw the error.
Okay. So but you have a public in it. So which is
Yeah,
like you can access to the public.
yeah. So if you look at my chart, right,
Yeah.
private can be applied only variables and methods.
Yes,
Private
that's
cannot be
exactly.
applied to class. Default it can be class. Public can be class. Okay. There
Class.
won't
Okay.
be private and protected for the class. Let me try to put protected also here. Okay. It will throw the error. So here it throw the error when I try to create private class, because Java will not support private keyword for the classes. There won't many private class. So it says like illegal modifier for the class product. Only public and are permitted. Public and default can be permitted. So when I put protected also, it will throw error. Okay, so here,
Okay.
yeah. So now only default. This is the default, and only public. This is a public, right? Class. This is a public class, and this is
Yeah.
a default class. So if I don't put anything, means this is the default. They don't. There is no any keyword as default, but if I don't put anything, is the default. That's what like default means.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let me run this program. So I am trying to access this private data member through get method only, because get method is the public. So yeah, let me run this. Okay, so 40 printed. So now when I try to remove this, right, so it will throw the compilation error. You can practice this. Okay, so I'll put this updated one here. The private example. Okay, so that is private. Now let's talk about default. Any questions on private? Do you understand private? Private can be method, as I put in no this one, right, as I put in a chart. Private will be applied to variable and methods. Okay, so now in the example, private can be applied to variables and it can be applied to methods also. So it cannot be applied to class. So that is why we since these are all private, it can be accessed to outside of the class. Any questions in private? Are you clear?
Yeah. I think so. It's
Okay.
like for
Yeah, you can practice. Okay. Yeah.
data, and then the message is like the method, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now let's move to default. So, yo, do you understand what is private? Any question?
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the default. Okay. So default one, right? So default, as I told in the chart, it can be applied to variable, method, and class. Okay. So variable, method, and class. So what is default? Default is this word you have to remember, package level. So any default variable, method, class can be accessed only within the package. So what is mean by package? I think this I told you, right? So package is, so here I have two packages. Okay, so this package, any package is nothing but a group of classes. So here I have two packages. One is default package and another one is com test demo is another package. Okay, so there are two packages I have here. So the classes, any class, variable, and method, if you don't put anything, so that means here, like, I didn't put any keyword here for the class. That means it's a default class. Default class can be accessed inside package anywhere. So when that means let's try to, like, so here I accessed. Let's try to access outside of this class also. It will allow, like director, right? So product class. I have product class here. So I have product default class. Let me remove the compilation errors. So I have a product class here. So when I try to access outside of the class inside of the package, it will allow. So let me try to access here product prod equal new product, and I can display. So product basically try to, yeah, so it allow. When I try to display the product, any data, it will allow. Okay, it will print here from another class also. So but from another package it will not allow. I'll show you. So it allows, like, 40 only display. So now when I try to put the same, like, in another package, that means there is one default another package, right? Let's try to put somewhere, like, where we have examples, right? Let's put here. Is there any? Okay, no, this is very big. Okay, let's try to put here. So when I try to access that product class from outside of this, like the package, it will throw the error. So if you even try to import also, it will not allow. So it actually not able to recognize this product, okay, from outside of the classes. When it will recognize, when I try to put product as public, it will recognize. Okay, let me put public, so it will recognize. So public class can be accessed from anywhere. So now it will recognize here. If I saved this one. Okay, so as I told, there's a rule, right? So only one file can have only one, basically one file. Any Java file can have only one public class. Here already one public class is there. Let me try to create another class here with the public here. I have public class here. So and then I remove this here. So here I have created public class now. So when I put default class, it will throw error here in other package. So where is other package here? It will throw error because it is not recognizing, because the other product class access modifier is what default one. Now when I put public, it will allow that. Okay, public means public class can be accessed anywhere in other, from other package, anywhere, like there is no restriction. Now when I go here, it will allow now. See that the moment when I go here, it actually it removed the error, because now the so product become public now. So it will allow from anywhere other package. But the default, any default variable also, like a default variable method, default class, cannot be accessed outside of this package. Like the classes which have demo com test demo can access only can access all the, default variables and methods and class. So let me put it back this code. I'll remove this product. So as I told, default can be applied to variable, default can be applied to variable, method and class. I showed you method class how it can be applied. Now I'm going to show you uh, variables means, like when I put this int dot data, so this one, right? So it this now this variable become default. It can be accessed now anywhere within the same package, but not outside of the package. Same way like methods also. Like if you don't put any like access modifier for this method, this message can be accessed only from the same package, not outside of the package. Let me see what example in the document I have given for default. So default variable, method and class. Think of default access as a package level access, because of a class so with default access can be seen only by classes within the same package. If you don't use any modifier, it is treated as default. Okay, so if you don't put anything, it is treated as default. Like in this example, right? Product class is default class, as I told. So when you try to access, see here the package, right? So the above package is Dexter. This one is user package. The same example which I showed, like one of the packages is a default package and the other one is the other package. So when you try to access the user package, right, this variable, it throw the error compilation, the one which I showed just now. That's about default. Default is always package level access. Any questions?
So we don't have to define for default. It's like automatically become like if you don't write down, it become default.
Yes, that's correct.
You see, so it's we can it's working with class, method, and everything.
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah.
you see. Okay.
Yeah.
So also when we try to define the private, just like out of a little bit, when you talking about private, so I know it's private is a method and then the
Variable can be private, not
variable.
class. And
So not class. So but
yes.
also within and default can be a private and a public, right?
Yeah, default can be private and public.
We can't. I mean, like within a default, because default can be class. You said if you say that within a
Yes.
default, you can have a method of a private method and a private.
No, default actually is these are all four separate things. You cannot mix up, like, you cannot say default private, you cannot say default protected, you cannot say these are all different. If you don't put any access modifier, there is a default. If you put like private already for one of the variable, then you cannot
We
you cannot
come
say that is default.
so, but the method can be private.
Yes, method can be private.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it
like
is.
if I have a class, a default class,
Okay.
a private method.
Yes, yeah. Default
That's what I'm
class
trying
can,
to
yeah.
explain.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay,
That's what I'm
default.
trying to say. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
if it's
So
a default, the class
we,
is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
this one is the default class, and it can have private methods and private variables.
Method
Yes,
and
yes. This
perfect.
can have.
That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. You got it. Yeah. So let's move on to next one. This is you. Any questions? Do you understand? Or the practice,
No,
this.
yeah. Now this one it's not working to another package, right? Just only working on one package, but
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, so this one will not work in other package. If we have any default, so if you try to access another package, the same class, default class, it will not allow, it will not work.
Okay, yeah, but it takes variable, method, and the class.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, if you're not able to access class, you cannot access. Suppose this class, right? If you're not able to access the class, you cannot access any one of these. So first you have to get the access for the class, then only can get the access for method and variables. Okay. If you don't get the access for class, you will not allow. First of it will give the compilation, right? Like here in this example. So now when I try to access the private, right? Let me show. So this one. So it will throw the error. Now it will not recognizing. So now when I try to put any one of this prod, it will not allow you to. Yeah, it's 10 minutes. It's over. It will not allow you to. Uh, it will not allow you to access any one of, because the class itself is not able to access. You cannot access any one of these variable, because it here product is not recognized. It's a default class, and when you're trying to access from another package, it will not access the class. If class itself is not accessible, you cannot access any method or variable from that class. You got it?
Oh yeah. What about on the same package?
Same package, it will allow anything, it will allow.
Yeah,
So same
yeah.
package, right here, that's what here product, right? Product is allowed.
Mm,
Same package, it will allow.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on to next one, which is protected. So can be applied to variables and methods. It cannot be applied to class. When I try to put protected for class, it will throw compilation error. So anyway, if you put product protected, it will throw the error. Now it says cannot be accessed something. So only public, it will allow only public and default only. So for class, it will not allow protected. So protected can be variable, can be applied to variable and method. So that's what, like, here. So what is protected? So protected basically, so it is a package level access and as well as the subclass. So that means if we have any so it protected variable are allowed to access within the same package and outside of the package also only for subclass. That means, so so let me look at the example whatever I put in the document. So it is extension of basically extension of default access. So default access is what it says is a package level, right? So this one protected is package level plus subclasses also. So that's what protected. Let me show you another example here. Let's say here product class I have as public here. So one of package. Now there is another package is there which is user package, and inside if I have another class, right, sub product. So here what are the protected variables? This int a is a protected and int message is the protected. These two are protected data members, both variable and method. When you try to access these are protected from another package, it will allow still, because that package other class should be subclass of this whatever the class you're trying to access. So if you look at right here in this case subproduct extends product, right, inheritance by this time, like we have all inheritance we discussed, simple multi-level multiple all the inheritance concept. So this is single inheritance, right? So this class subclass subproduct extends the product class. So it will still allow protected members outside of the package if the class is subclass of this product. Then only it will allow. Now it will allow when you try to create a object and try to access the variables. It will allow. Let me create, okay, one of the. So now let me create one of the class which is subproduct.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Are private members allowed to inherit? Are they inherit in subclass?
No, private members it will allow only in the same class. It will not allow even outside of the other class. You will
Okay, so they
same
don't
pack.
get inherited.
Yeah, they don't get invited. Yes,
Okay.
only protected only get invited. Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let me go here. Private only within the class, no matter what, whether it's a out subclass or superclass. So only within the same pack class only it will allow. Okay. I think now only 5 minutes left. I will continue this tomorrow. I will complete this. So tomorrow I'll continue, but just go through some of the basics by tomorrow. Like this axiom modifier. Then
Sandra,
let's.
I asked you before, like before you start,
Hmm.
about private and the protected one, because I know both of them it's like a method and variable,
Yeah.
but class, right?
Yes.
So, but and what's the main difference between two of them, the private and the protected one?
Protected. Protected private is basically right. Private only it will allow within the same class. It will not allow outside of the class. That means this is private. Protected means still protected is somewhat it's a restricted access, but it will allow only the subclasses. It will not. It will protected is somewhat more private is more restricted and private is less restricted. Oh, sorry, protected is less restricted. So I can say private is more restricted. Okay. So pub protected is less compared to private, less
Oh,
restricted. But both are restricted. So the access level is private is more and protected is little less. Okay. This both are restricted. Public is there is no restriction. Okay, public no
public is
restriction.
yeah,
Yeah, this no restriction. And the default is package level restriction.
yeah.
So this is how
So the both also in the same class, the private and the protected within the same class.
Yeah. Only will allow through subclasses. Yeah. So this what like yeah. Private only within the same class, right?
Same class.
Yeah. This I will give you more examples tomorrow. So then what else we have? Let me check tomorrow. I can start next topic also. Syllabus. Access modifiers. Yeah, there are other object-oriented concepts there. Cloning, recursion, and then there's a call by value, call by reference. So this I will cover little few of them. Then we have string and exceptional collections. Another three topics. Core Java is done. Yeah, string also is not tough concept. Is easy one only. Then these two are big concepts: exceptional handling and collections. Then you can do more practice and come up with questions. Then advanced I'll start. Okay, but do practice. You both Salem and yeah, more practice you do. This document I will send tomorrow after tomorrow class. Okay. I think you got some idea, right? Out of these all four. So I will continue protected and public. Actually, there is nothing much about public because it is no restriction. Public, it can be accessed anywhere, any package, any subclass. Protected only. I will run on program. So then that will cover the protected. Then we'll complete this topic. And then I'll move on to next one tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
There's some table also is there. I will.
Oh, no, nice. That's good.
Yeah, this table also I will explain tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's all for today. We'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Good
Okay,
night.
thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Bye.
night. Yeah.